Hey there friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Brittany and we just got back from Walt Disney World. We were there over Christmas and I thought that it might be fun to sort of take a look back at the things that we brought. I did do a pack with me video. If you haven't checked that out, I will link it above. But did we bring what we should have? Were there things that we didn't bring that we picked up along the way? So I'd love to share these tips and tricks with you. If you are planning a trip to Walt Disney World in the winter time, then this video is for you. So, it was very cold and it rained basically every single day. So I would keep that in mind if you are planning a trip to Walt Disney World in the winter months. You want to pack layers and err on the side of warmer than cooler. I brought all of these t-shirts that, were specific to parks. They are, the kind of inside joke of rides. I brought all of those t-shirts with me. And to be honest, I wore one t-shirt the whole time we were there. It was rain, it was a bit windy. I think if you're from anywhere outside of Florida, you probably think about Florida as always being warm and sunny and beautiful year round. Florida can have crazy weather. They can have crazy weather in the summertime, they can have crazy weather in the wintertime, and it fluctuates just super dramatically. You really need to be kind of prepared for anything, whatever time of year you go to Disney World. By layers, I mean, jackets and sweatshirts. If you are the type of person or family that likes to rope drop, that means you are getting up early. You are outside in the elements, a lot of times standing and waiting. It can get cold. It might be good to bring one of those jackets that you can kind of stuff down, especially if it does pack down really small, so you can take it in your suitcase. If you don't wear it, it didn't take up a ton of space. We didn't bring that. I don't think at the time of year that we went, it wasn't cold enough that we needed a jacket, but we definitely wore sweatshirts and pants the entire time, or at least I did. My boyfriend did wear some shorts. I brought a number of t-shirts. I brought a number of shorts. I didn't wear shorts once. I wore long pants every single day except for going to dinner at Topolino's Terrace. I wore a tennis skirt with actually this sweatshirt, which was one of the things that I bought while we were in Disney World because I only brought 3 sweatshirts with me. And usually if you're like me at Disney World, you change outfits midday. So, you have like a morning park, go back to your hotel room, you kind of freshen up, you chill for a bit, and then you go out for your evening. So I don't like to wear the same outfit the whole time. So, I went through my sweatshirts really, really quickly and I was on the hunt for something else to wear. So I bought this sweatshirt, which at this time of year is the uniform apparently for Walt Disney World. I didn't realize that everybody was buying this sweatshirt. So I have this sweatshirt in 3 colors now. I have it in white, gray, and now blue. I love it. Very classic, very comfortable, but every single person in the park was wearing it. It was actually funny. We were at Grand Floridian at one point. We were looking at the gingerbread house and there was a woman there with her family and they were all wearing this sweatshirt as sort of like that matching family outfit. And I could have joined their family. Like we were laughing about it. I was like, oh, I guess I'm part of your group. You need to err on the side of warmer layers because you're just not gonna wear a lot of the lighter things in the winter months. Another clothing item that we brought and didn't use once was bathing suits. If you were adventurous, you can go into the pools. They are heated, but to be honest, it was not the type of weather that I want to go into a pool. So I brought a couple of bathing suits, cover-ups, all those things. I didn't wear them once. So that is one of the things that, looking back on this trip, probably wouldn't, coulda, woulda, shoulda, right? We did bring them, we didn't use them, but I would recommend always bringing a bathing suit. You never know. It's always good to have it. And it's one of those things that you don't want to be searching for a bathing suit when you are on vacation because buying a bathing suit is not always an easy feat, so definitely make sure you bring at least one along because you never know. So here's a tip of a clothing item that I don't usually bring, and I think I'm gonna bring more of in the future. So something that's a comfy room outfit that's not your pajamas, because again, that time of the day when you come back and you just wanna hang out in your room, it's kind of nice to like get out of the clothes that you were wearing earlier. You don't really want to put your pajamas on just to hang out in the room. At least I don't. I mean, I do. That's what I usually do, but then you're sort of just wearing your pajamas all the time. I just want some more like loungy type of outfits. So, in the winter months, I would suggest bringing one or two just kind of room outfits that are just maybe a matching sweatsuit or something that like you wouldn't necessarily want to wear to the parks, but are not your pajamas either. So that's something that I'm going to try and incorporate into my packing going forward for Disney World, whether it's the winter or the summer, because it's just kind of nice to come back from the parks, get kind of cozy, bring some comfy outfits that you can just change into that are designated just for the room. Another essential item for Walt Disney World, whether it's the winter time or the summertime, are socks. You need to bring lots of pairs of socks. I have a couple of pairs of socks that are from Amazon. They're like these Disney socks. I love them. I only wear them at the parks, but they are perfect all the time. I would suggest bringing lots of socks, err on the side of socks, different types of socks too. Like don't just bring, the no-show socks. Like you want to have sort of a range of different types of socks for the different shoes that you're going to bring. So that's my next thing that I want to talk about. But before we move on from the socks, why I bring that up is because certain shoes, I don't know, at least my shoes anyway, if you're doing a lot of walking, you don't know what's going to happen to your sock, right? Like your socks could start rolling down under your foot, or they're just like not comfortable in the shoe that you have. Like these are first world Disney problems. I understand that, but there's nothing more annoying than being in a park and having to constantly pull up your socks because they are rolling under your foot. And that has happened to me many times, and it is not fun. So another tip going along the lines of the socks are shoes. And I recommend bringing a number of pairs of shoes. And I know that that's difficult because if you are someone who's trying to pack light for Disney, shoes are heavy, right? Like you want to probably wear your heaviest shoe on the plane on your travel day, but I recommend bringing multiple pairs of shoes because you are going to be doing a tremendous amount of walking. Before you know it, and you don't even realize that you're walking so much, but before you know it, if you have an Apple Watch or a Fitbit, you will see that you've done 20,000 steps. And whether you get a blister or it's just good to sort of like reposition, I guess, the weight of your feet, and like different shoes hit differently on your feet, different sort of pressure points and whatever. Like if you're trying to make sure that your feet don't hurt, and of course, like you don't want to get the blisters, that would make your trip miserable if you start getting blisters on your feet. So just err on the side of dry socks and different pairs of shoes that you rotate throughout the day. So like when you're in the park in the morning, wear one pair of shoes. When you come back to the room, do your resting, do your whatever you're gonna do sort of low key. When you go back out to the park, maybe switch your shoes. Make sure that you're wearing dry socks. And that's a thing in the winter or in the summer, honestly. When it rains in Disney World, it usually comes fast and furious. There's nothing worse than walking around in wet socks, in wet shoes. So if you have multiple pairs of socks, multiple pairs of shoes, if they get wet, you can hopefully try and let them dry. But that's a problem in Disney, whether it's the summer months or the winter months. It is sometimes difficult with the humidity for things to dry quickly. So keep that in mind. Err on the side of more so that you just have options, right? Because there's nothing worse than not having those options. You can go out and buy a t-shirt, a sweatshirt, but going out and buying new shoes for a trip that you're gonna walk 20,000 plus steps a day, not a great thing. You wanna make sure that these are comfortable, these are tried and true. So definitely a tip, bring extra of those things. So another important item to bring on your trip and really be kind of thoughtful and strategic about what that is your park bag, right? So I did a video that was what's in my park bag, and I'll link that one above, but it's really important to think about what is it that you are bringing with you on your day in Disney World? What are those essential items? And it's not a one size fits all. If you have kids, you probably need a lot more things. We're also sort of minimalist when it comes to what we're actually bringing with us into the parks. We don't bring, a backpack and a fanny pack and a thing, like all of the things. We don't do that. That's not who we are. For me specifically, I have enjoyed wearing the Stony Clover Lane fanny packs, and I am gonna do a video actually on my Stony Clover Lane collection. So if that is of interest to you, then definitely leave a comment below. But I really do like their fanny packs for park bags because they are the perfect size, whether they're the classic size or the jumbo, depending on what it is that you need. So when we go to Disney World, I usually bring the classic size fanny pack. That is usually enough. And for this last trip that we were just on, I did actually only use the classic size. I did bring a jumbo bag with us and I ended up not using it. I just don't bring enough stuff with me. I'm very thoughtful about what goes into my park bag. For me, it's just the classic size is perfect. I usually wear it sort of across the chest. It's deceivingly bigger than what you think will fit in there. So if you are someone like me who brings sort of the essentials with you, it is the perfect bag. It was the perfect bag at Christmas. It was the perfect bag in the summer. So I will continue to bring the Stony Clover Lane fanny pack with me on all of my Walt Disney trips going forward. Speaking of bags though, so I just went over the bags that I personally like to use. So my boyfriend has a drawstring, very minimalist. It's an Under Armour bag. I'll try to link a picture here so you know what I'm talking about, but he usually will bring that bag with him. So we have a little bit more room to carry things with us that may not fit in my Stony Clover bag. And the things that he usually puts in his bag are ponchos. So those are a tip that bring ponchos with you. The ponchos that you buy at Walt Disney World, and those are the ponchos that we have. We bought them on a previous trip, maybe it was the last trip or even the trip before. They're about like $15, or at least I think they were when we were there. So kind of expensive. So we just kept them and we bring them with us. We didn't actually use them on our last trip that we just came home from. It rained all the time, but it was more of a pain to put the poncho on. So we just kind of like ran through the rain, dealt with it. But especially in the summer, the storms can be very intense. So I do recommend bringing ponchos with you and just having them in your bag just in case, right? And like for a little bit of drizzle, probably not essential to put the poncho on. It's more of a pain in the butt in my opinion, to keep putting it on or putting it off or just walking around in this like wet plastic bag, but it is good to have on hand. So he usually keeps the ponchos in his sort of drawstring bag, and then he'll bring a bottle of water and put it in there as well. Like, I do recommend that type of backpack because it's lightweight, it's not bulky, you can kind of like roll it up or throw it in, you know, small spaces. A lot of the rides that you go on, there's not a lot of storage space for all of the things that you're carrying around with you. So you kind of need to shove it into a tight space or kind of put it under your feet or whatever. So if you have this massive backpack with you, I personally feel like that would be kind of challenging. So err on the side of kind of lighter, more minimalist, more able to sort of pack down and sort of throw into a tight space. Really recommend those. Still do. We'll continue to bring them on our future trips. Let's talk about hats, ears, all of those sort of things. So hats are essential, and they're essential in the summer because they keep the sun off of your face, right? Like in the summer months, it can be brutal. It can be super hot and miserable. And, you know, you want to be careful there with just the sun beating on your face. In the winter as well, it was great having hats because it was raining most of the time. You put a hat on, kept the rain out of your eyes, and it was great. So I love this one hat, and I'll put a picture in. It's this Disney Mickey trucker hat. I love it. It fits really well. My boyfriend actually picked up one, so we have matching hats because he was wearing my hat and then he got one of his own. But they usually have like, you know, really cute options. I have this Nike Disney hat as well. So highly recommend a baseball hat of some kind, whether it's the summer, whether it's the winter, 100% you need that for your trip. And then in terms of ears, I will say, you know, if you watched any of my videos, I am an ear wearer. The weather was unpredictable, so a lot of the time I felt like I was wearing hats more in the morning when it was raining and whatever, and then when it kind of cleared up, then I put my ears on. So now on to those kind of random Disney essential things that I recommend you bring with you on your trip to Walt Disney World. So Again, I mentioned this in my pack with me video, and these still are tried and true. I bring disposable straws. They don't have regular straws at Walt Disney World. They only have paper straws. And if you have to drink out of a paper straw, it changes the taste of the drink. They get super soggy. I am not a paper straw kind of gal. I know that there are reusable straws out there. For me, it's more of just sort of a convenience factor. So what I usually do is in the morning or when we're heading out to our second park of the day, I just put two of the straws that I brought with me in my park bag, and then we use them on whatever the drink is that we've gotten, whether it's a fountain drink, whether we're in a table service restaurant, whatever it is. You may not care. You may be somebody who likes paper straws, but highly, highly recommend that, whether they are the ones that you can kind of take from Starbucks or any other kind of fast food place, or, as this viewer wrote, thank you so much for your comment. You can buy them on Amazon, Agave ones, or a number of other things. Definitely recommend bringing your own straws with you if this is something that you think may bother you over your trip. Another thing that was essential for this trip and is always essential on every single one of my trips is laundry things. So every Disney hotel has laundry facilities. Not all of them are in your room. Some of the more deluxe or DVC hotels have in-room laundry. Other hotels have some sort of common space and sometimes multiple places. So I actually loved where we stayed. So we were at Pop Century Resort and we stayed in the 90s and we were on the first floor. So where we stayed was directly in front of that computer pool, and it had a separate laundry facility right there. I didn't even realize that Pop Century had more than one laundry space. I thought it was all over by I think it's the Hippy Dippy, like the pedal bar. There's a laundry facility there. And that's where in the past, we usually just bring our clothes to at least once throughout our trip. But it was so nice to have laundry right there. It was steps from our hotel room. Like we walked out because we were on the first floor, walked like 10 steps. We were right there. It was right where the pool was. It was so nice. So I actually loved the location of our room. I wish that we could stay there again. It's the furthest area, so I will be honest there, but it was quiet over there. Like the pool was right there, which I said we didn't go into the pool, but it was nice to have it there if we did want to go in the pool. So we bring Tide Pods. So I usually bring a couple of them. I think I brought 4 Tide Pods with me, and then bringing dryer sheets. And another thing are Tide to Go pens. Those are essential. You never know at Disney World. You're eating different things. You're trying different things all the time. You're drinking different things. You're inevitably going to spill it yourself. It just happens. So I swear by Tide to Go sticks. They are so good. So definitely throw one of those into your suitcase, have it in the room. I don't necessarily bring it with me in my park bag for the day because I know I'm only going to be there for a couple of hours. If I spill on myself, hopefully it's fine that I can go back to the room, and then you just, put the Tide to Go stick on it. And usually I've never had an issue. Everything comes out, but bringing things to do laundry, it's a game changer. And as I said, I had to buy the sweatshirt because I ran out of sweatshirts. And even then we did laundry while we were there. And it's just kind of nice to not have, especially in the summer, but even in the winter months when it's sort of rainy or cold or whatever, you don't want to wear your clothes again because they could get wet, they could get whatever. And if you have to wear more of the sweatshirts than you anticipated, do laundry throughout your trip and you'll always have something fresh and clean and ready for whatever adventure awaits you that day. Another sort of Disney essential item that I always recommend bringing with you are 3-in-1 chargers. So they sell, on Amazon or even at the Apple Store or in other places, maybe it's a charging mat or it's a little stand that has basically the opportunity to charge multiple things on one cord. Because at Disney World, in a lot of these resorts, they don't always have a ton of plugs, and some of the plugs don't always work. So some of them are traditional plugs, like you plug in with the prongs of, the actual outlet, or they're USB, sometimes they're super loose and it doesn't work, right? And if at Disney World, you are carrying all of these things that have to be charged all the time. You're on your phone continuously, so you always need to make sure that that's charged. Your Magic Band Plus, if you've invested in one of those, you have to charge it every night, all of the things. You have an Apple Watch, you have a camera like this. So the list goes on. And especially if there's more than yourself, that's doubling the need for all of these charging places. I suggest investing in one of these travel mats. You will thank me when you get there. Definitely recommend something like that. Another essential Disney item that I didn't use actually on this trip, but I do highly recommend it in the summer months, are portable fans. And you can buy these on Amazon. They're like $10, $15. And it is just so nice, especially in the summer months, to have a fan when there's just no air circulation. It just, obviously it's going to be blowing warm air at you, but it is just really a nice to have when, I wouldn't even say it's a nice to have, actually, it's a must. It really is. When you're standing in some of these lines, just having this little fan, massive difference. So maybe not essential for winter Walt Disney World trips, but 100% recommend for summer. So another essential Disney item that we did bring with us on our trip this winter, but also recommend it really for any time of year, are liquid IV, or those electrolyte replenishing powders that you pour into water bottles. If you're walking 20,000 steps, you can easily get dehydrated, whether it's warm out or it's chilly, right? Like you're doing a lot of exercise, you're in a different environment. So it's great to stay hydrated. I bring these and I take one in the morning, I pour it into my water bottle, and I did that on this trip. And, I've never felt dehydrated, and it can happen quickly. So I really recommend the liquid IV ones. There's Element, there's other brands out there. Super easy to kind of throw in your park bag or take in your hotel room before you head out for the day. So now let's talk about some toiletries. So again, check out my video to see the full list of things that I did bring with me in terms of toiletries, but a couple of things that I think are 100% essential and that I actually ran out of are makeup remover wipes. And normally at home, I use like a cleansing balm as my first cleanse, and then I use more of a second cleanse with more of a foaming or whatnot soap. But when I'm on vacation or traveling, I like to bring the Olay dry makeup remover wipes. They're not the wet ones like the Neutrogena ones, which I always find are usually dried out. So I buy the dry ones, and then you put them under the water and they activate. I actually ran out of them. I thought I brought enough, but as I said, you come back to the room, you usually want to get freshened up. So I feel like you need 2 of them a day. I didn't quite bring enough, so we went over to Disney Springs and I picked up a few more. Definitely recommend the dry cloth ones, because then they also, you don't have to bring more liquid with you to have in, especially if you're carrying, carry on only. Definitely recommend those for whatever time of year your Disney World trip is. Another notable toiletry I 100% recommend bringing, if you were someone like me, you get your nails done before you go on your trip, and whether it's Christmas or wintertime, summertime, whatever, there's nothing more annoying than, your nail breaks, you get a jagged something, your cuticle is driving you crazy. So I always bring a nail file, cuticle nippers, and like a regular nail clipper just to have in your bag in case you need it, because it's just, there's nothing more annoying than having something that like is just bugging you the whole trip. I always throw it in my toiletry bag and have it the ready. And there's always an opportunity in the trip that I use it. One other just sort of random essential travel item that I always bring, whether it's Disney World or traveling for work, I always bring a travel steamer with me. I have brought this on international trips. I have brought it on, domestic, Disney, wherever I'm going. I always bring the steamer with me. It's super small, really, easy to throw in your bag, but all of the, which I didn't end up using, but all of the t-shirts that I brought or whatever, you bring it out of your suitcase, super wrinkled, so easy to just put on the steamer. You can quickly like steam out any of the wrinkles that you have, and then you're ready to go. Takes 2 minutes. Get yourself a little travel steamer and you will thank me. And the last item that I wanted to mention are sunglasses. And, you know, obviously it's a sort of a no-brainer in the summer, but in the winter months as well, you never know with the weather. You never know if it's going to be sunny or if it's gonna, you know, immediately change to rain or vice versa. It's always great to bring some sunglasses with you because you just never know when you're gonna need them. We were at Epcot one of the days of our trip, that was our morning park, and it was supposed to be cloudy, it was supposed to rain. We were on the Disney Skyliner, we got over to Epcot, and like it was the most beautiful day. And I was vlogging at the time, and I remember I just could barely see. So definitely bring some sunglasses, throw them in your bag, something that's easy to pack, just easy to kind of throw in your park bag, and you never know when you're gonna use them. So that is it. I hope this little walk down memory lane of what I brought with me on my trip to Disney World, what I recommend, what maybe I forgot to bring, or what I'm gonna add to my packing in the future. I hope that this was helpful for you if you are planning a trip to Disney World in the winter or even the summer, or really any time of year. There's always sort of opportunities to kind of pull some inspiration from what others are bringing. I know I do this all the time. I love these kinds of videos, and you can always learn something. And for me, this was our first time really going in those winter months, which I would sort of define as December through mid-March. We have been to Disney World in early March and it was cold. So the winter months are chilly. You need different things. You need different things from what you might bring in the summer, but there's a lot of commonality there too. So I hope that you found this interesting. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please give this video a big thumbs up. I hope that you will subscribe to my channel. Join the fun, join the family. I do post videos every week, sometimes twice a week. Hope you will stick around. I'm so glad that you spent some time with me today. Take care of yourself, and I will see you really soon. Bye.